for staying here. This is flight schedule. We'll begin with Max Airline. Max Airline would fly from Lagos to Kano today at 4:35 p.m. And then Arik Air will leave Lagos for Abuja at 2:20 p.m. Arik Air would also fly from Lagos to Port Harcourt at 10:40 a.m. And another flight will leave at 5:10 p.m. Lagos Warri will take off at 2 p.m. And over to Ibom Air, you can fly Lagos to Abuja via Ibom Air today at 12:30 p.m. And another flight will take off from Lagos to Abuja at 4:30 p.m. later today. Ibom Air would also leave Lagos for Enugu at 3:30 p.m. Another flight from Lagos to Uyo will leave at 2 p.m. and 4:30 p.m. respectively. Airpeace will leave Lagos for Abuja at 12:40 p.m. The next flight will take off at 1:45 p.m. And also from Lagos to Abuja, you can fly Airpeace at 4:15 p.m., 4:20 p.m. and 6 p.m. later this evening. From Lagos to Port Harcourt, you can fly Airpeace at 2:05 p.m. You can also fly Airpeace from Lagos to Benin at 12 p.m., while Lagos to Kano at 2:40 p.m. And that was flight schedule for you. Thank you so much for listening. Coming up next is Maritime Today.
You've just listened to Flight Schedule, brought to you by Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM.
Producing and exporting country, Nigeria is a large market for foreign goods owing to its population. In this regard, the maritime industry holds the key to the nation's growth and development. For the latest news on the maritime industry, tune in to Maritime Today on Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, a program designed to showcase the opportunities and challenges in the Nigerian maritime sector. Why don't you join us on Wednesdays at 9:15 a.m. and Saturdays at 10:15 a.m. on Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM as we highlight the development and new regulations put in place to address the problems of the maritime industry. Wednesdays 9:15 a.m. and Saturdays 10:15 a.m. Maritime Today is brought to you by the Nigerian Shippers Council.
Hello, Lagos. It's always a thing of joy to have you join us at this time as the seamless exchange of ideas and information about your movement across Lagos takes a new dimension. The first wave of traffic is subsiding, so to say, even though it's a Saturday, and we're gradually beginning to see the second wave, which is gathering momentum with some noticeable build-ups at some of the notorious spots in the city. My dear listener, remember what we said at the beginning of the year, that the object of a new year is not that we should have a new year, it is that we should have a new soul. 2024 is already 27 days gone with so much yet undone, but getting ourselves into the groove for a fresh start, spurred on by the zeal to succeed, may just be the right direction to face despite the uncertainties of the next 12 months. The words of Craig D. Lansborough may just be the right tonic that you need this morning to get things started this year. He says, and I'm going to quote him, "Starting over is an acceptance of a past we can't change, an unrelenting conviction that the future can be different, and a stubborn wisdom to use the past in making the future what the past was not." End of quote. And with those thoughts adorned in the garment of wisdom this morning, we welcome you to Maritime Today, your twice weekly adventure through the maritime industry. At 9:15 on Wednesdays and 10:15 on Saturdays, this frequency comes alive with the best of maritime gists designed to stimulate discourse that would foster 360 degrees development of the industry. The program is brought to you by the Nigerian Shippers Council, the economic regulator of the ports. It's nice to have you join us. My name is Victor Oteri. All right, then. So the Nigerian Shippers Council is wishing all shippers, freight forwarders, and even shipping companies, as well as terminal operators and shipping associations and all stakeholders of the maritime industry a prosperous and fulfilling 2024. All right, so the council is also giving you the assurance of its renewed commitment towards port efficiency at the ports and promoting ease of doing business, while also upholding its regulatory functions of improving economic activities of the ports. So if you want to really get in touch with them, you can always reach them on 081 8888 8895. That's 081 8888 8895. All right, then. So today on the program, we are going to be looking at best ways of fostering transport infrastructure for shipment, and we're looking at it from the blueprint of the PPP model of the Nigerian Shippers Council. So what is the public-private partnership initiative of the council? Which projects have been captured under this PPP arrangement, and what are the challenges confronting this PPP arrangement in the fulfillment of its mandate? These are many more we're reflecting on. If you can keep us company, plus maritime news, which will be coming to you shortly. Just keep it locked. Let's have a word from our partners, and when we return, it'll be time to set sail.
Nigerian Shippers Council, they to serve you well. No matter the problem, we go solve it for you.
Yes, so the Nigerian Shippers Council, they feel in a parole now for every level. And as on our goods, they move from port A, go enter port B, with a measure within on a need. For the Nigerian Shippers Council, we don't sharp proper to fit hear you wella, work with you wella, and help you fit serve your customers them better, no matter where them day. As we country port economic regulator, the Nigerian Shippers Council get every now to fit make government consider the problem when shippers them they face. Visit we office for number 4 or to buy your daily show your daily. Papa, email us for nsc@shipperscouncil.gov.ng. We website now www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng. Allow us on top 0818-888-8895 or 0703-584-6468. Nigerian Shippers Council with a meeting for the port of an need.
Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Maritime Today is the program. We've set for the conversation. Quickly, let's take you through the last travel advice that we've got for you. Lekki-Ajah corridor, generally things are looking very, very cool and calm at the moment. Traffic is still looking good through the length and breadth of the axis. Descending Jubilee Bridge inwards Jakonde, Ikate, Marwa, very good to go. Likewise, for the return journey, the stretch of Marwa back to Ilaje and Ajah, also looking very lovely. Impediment, very negative this morning, but the location where we're tracking, where we have an impediment on top of Okiafra Bridge, where there's a broken down truck there, but it is receiving attention, and traffic managers are doing the bit that they can. Victoria Island as well is looking very cool and calm, most of the areas, and if you're coming in from the mainland, you still have access through the 3rd Milan Bridge at this time, and it stays like that up to 12 noon. Okay, so take note of that. And of course, other areas we're covering, most of the traffic situation still very cool and calm. Let's have the latest news in the maritime industry, and Mike James is here to take us through that.
This is the Maritime News on Maritime Today. We'll begin with our first story. NPA demands share of auction proceeds from customs. The Nigeria Ports Authority (NPA) has asked the Nigeria Customs Service (NTS) to ensure that it gets part of the proceeds from the auction of seized overtime cargoes. The Managing Director of NPA, Mohammed Bello Koko, made the demand on Thursday when the Controller General of Customs, Adewale Adeni, visited him at the NPA headquarters in Lagos. On the 16th of January 2024, the Nigeria Customs Service (NTS) commenced e-auction of seized vehicles and other cargo, including overtime cargo. Responding to the request, Comptroller General of Customs, Wale Adeni, said, as I quote, "On the issue of overtime cargo, a committee has been set up led by the Customs Service and an assessment has been done. Overtime cargoes have occupied a lot of economic space, and it is creating difficulty in clearing up cargo because there isn't space. The ports are very small. However, the auction has actually started, the bid has started, and the overtime containers have been moved to some locations. But in our initial discussions, we have asked that all the funds Nigeria Port Authority spends should also be considered. End of quote. The NPA Managing Director also asked the Nigeria Customs Service to streamline its export proceeding desk to reduce the bottlenecks around non-oil exports at the port. And still dwelling on customs matters, Customs intercepts cocaine, Colorado, worth 4.27 billion naira at Tinkan Island port. The Nigeria Customs Service on Thursday said it intercepted 4 containers laden with arms and ammunition alongside illegal drugs imported from South Africa and Canada into Tinkan Island port, TCIP. Comptroller General of the Service, Adewale Adini, disclosed this while addressing journalists on the recent seizures recorded by operatives of Tinkan Island Command of the service in collaboration with National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA. Adini noted that operatives of Tinkan Island Command reported a number of successfully executed multiple interceptions of illegal drugs, arms and ammunition at various locations, representing a concerted effort to prevent illegal entry into the country through diverse routes and means of conveyance. According to him, the interceptions have brought to light a concerning trend wherein criminal networks engage in collaborative attempts to subvert the competency of the agencies tasked with mitigating the entry of such illicit substances. US-UK slap sanctions on Houthi leaders. That's our last story. The U.S. Department of the Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control, OFAC, and the United Kingdom have imposed sanctions on 4 leading members of Ansarallah, also known as the Houthis, in response to their attacks on commercial vessels in the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden, including taking civilians' crews hostage. The 4 individuals were said to have supported the attacks that threatened international trade route and global security. The sanctions block all property and interest of the designated persons within the United States or under the control of U.S. persons. Furthermore, non-U.S. financial institutions and other entities that engage in certain transactions or activities with the sanctioned individuals may be subject to sanctions or enforcement actions. Under Secretary of the Treasury for Terrorism and Financial Intelligence, Brian E. Nelson, said the attacks on commercial vessels and their civilian crews disrupt international supply chains and undermine global security, stability, and prosperity. Today's joint action with the United Kingdom demonstrates our collective action to leverage all authorities to stop these attacks. End of quote. And that was our maritime news for today. Over to Victor Oteri for the rest of the program.
Nigerian shippers cancel day to serve you well. No matter the problem, we go solve them for you.
Yes, so the Nigerian Shippers Council they feel in a parole now for every level, and as soon as goods they move from port A go enter port B with a measure within on a need. For the Nigerian Shippers Council, we don't sharp proper to fit hear you wella, work with you wella, and help you fit serve your customers them better, no matter where them day. As we country port economic regulator, the Nigerian Shippers Council get every now to fit make government consider the problem when shippers them they face. Visit we office for number 4 or to buy your daily show your daily. Papa, email us for nsc@shipperscouncil.gov.ng. We website now www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng. Allow us on top 0818-888-8895 or 0703-584-6468. Nigerian Shippers Council with the meeting now for the port of the Nigeria.
The Nigerian Shippers Council is now better poised with responsive systems in place to help you and other shippers get seamless, stress-free transition for your clients' goods from point A to B. Today at the Nigerian Shippers Council, timeliness, orderliness, transparency and efficiency is all we care about. Put your complaint through to our helpline 0818-888-8895. Visit us at number 4 Ayodele Shoyode Lane, Apapa, Lagos. Or reach us on www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng.
Nigerian Shippers Council, we meet you at the point of your need.
Nigerian Shippers Council, we meet you at the port of your needs.
Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Maritime Today is the program, and we're very much set for the conversation today. We're fostering infrastructure for shipment of goods in Nigeria, the PPP model. And joining me on the phone right now, I have Isa Audu. He's a Deputy Director, Public-Private Partnership, PPP, for the Nigerian Shippers Council. Nice to have you. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Mr. Victor.
All right.
Good morning.
Right.
Good morning, listening viewers. Thank you for having me.
Right. So it's never too late to say Happy New Year to you, Malam Audu.
Thank you very much.
Great. So let's start by getting to know you in relation to your office and what you do. So what is the function of the PPP at the Shippers Council?
Yeah, thank you very much. Good morning once more. Like you rightly said, my name is Isa Audu, Deputy Director and Head of Public-Private Partnership of Nigerian Shippers Council. Basically, the PPP unit of Nigerian Shippers Council, just as any other PPP in the MDAs, we identify, we prioritize, and also select and develop framework for all public-private partnership projects.
Right.
We also assess the current status and performance of key infrastructure in the transport sector as it affects Nigerian Shippers Council. Of course, we also assess the policy, legal, and social environment for involving private sector in the provision of transport infrastructure, because, like I said, the environment has to be convenient for them to participate.
Right.
We also negotiate and renegotiate all PP projects using financial models to ensure viability and bankability of this project, so that we don't invite investors into projects that will not be viable for him.
Wonderful.
We also analyze all PPP projects with a view to determining, the participation of each party in the procurement arrangement, because it has to be very, very internationally transparent.
Right.
We also evaluate projects in the capital budget of the council, and also suggesting those that can be undertaken through PPP, so that we don't just carry all projects that may not be, implementable.
Right. So it means that your functions. So it means that your functions are very, very broad indeed.
In fact, very, very broad. Anything that has to do with a PPP project in terms of, legal framework, financing. Not council financing anyway.
Right.
Getting the right financier for those projects and so on. It's a very broad
function that you guys have.
Assignment, yeah.
All right. So,
yes.
And some keen observers will be asking the question. I mean, the Nigerian Shippers Council is an agency of the federal government. Why is it also thinking of the PPP model? What's the idea behind the establishment of the PPP?
Yes, as you will understand. At a point, there were so many abandoned projects of the federal government, because the federal government cannot, there are many aspects of the, sectors that require federal government attention. So, federal government saw the need, to effectively mobilize the private sector resources for national development. And that was what brought this idea of federal government establishing PPP units in all the MPAs. And these PPP units are expected to engender service delivery, faster execution of the project, because the private sector are bringing their funds, and of course, reduction in the cost of project execution, thereby subtracting, the gap of infrastructure deficit in the transport sector.
All right, then. So what are the specific infrastructure that the PPP has proposed for implementation or has implemented?
Yeah, in Nigerian Shippers Council, basically the PPP unit is proposing about 3 or 4 projects. That the vehicle transit areas.
Okay.
We have the inland dry port project, as well as International Maritime Library and Resource Center.
All right, just take some time to talk to me. Yeah, just talk to the International Library Resource Center. What's that about?
Yeah, the International Maritime Resource Center is the e-library as well as the resource center being proposed to be developed by Nigerian Shippers Council in Jos, the Plateau State capital. It is going to have the e-library. It is going to have places for new conferences, events, hotel, and so on and so on.
Okay. All right. And the inland dry ports, how many of them?
Inland dry port, apart from the legacy ones that we have about 6 or 7, we have the ones that are being proposed under PPP, I think about 4 or so. That's for the inland dry port.
Right. And then you talk about the vehicle transit areas, which used to be the TTPs.
Yeah. Yes.
Talk to me. What are they? The truck transit parks?
Truck transit park, otherwise known as vehicle transit area, is a modern public rest area, located off major road to provide, like a rest location for drivers.
Okay.
Either for short-term safety break or long-term service in high-use corridors.
Right. And one will be wondering, what's the aim of setting up those TTPs?
The idea for establishing
those VTAs, right.
Yeah, to ensure that truck operators obtain some measure of safety and comfort while on transit, and this will ultimately reduce the rate of road traffic accidents among agricultural vehicles on the road, and of course to ensure safety of cargoes they carry. Those are the main idea behind establishment of the
And how many of this vehicle transit area infrastructure has been envisioned for Nigeria?
For now, we have about 9 or 10 in a different locations that we have identified, even though there are some privately operated. But the ones we have identified to be viable, which tend to have a PPP implementation, about 10 of them.
10 of them. And can you mention some of this infrastructure and where they are located?
Yeah, we have in Obulafo, that's in Enugu State.
Okay.
We have Azele in Edo State. We have Lokoja in Kogi State.
Right.
There is one in Pipeline in Papalanto, Ogun State.
Okay.
We have 2 in Adamawa State, that's Ngurore and Mubi. Mubi is a border town linking Nigeria to Cameroon, up to Central African Republic.
That's right.
Guso in Zamfara State is also proposing one. That's another axis linking Nigeria to Niger and the rest. Right. We have at Ilela in Sokoto, Chipia in Katsina. We are proposing another one in Abaji, that's in FCT.
Okay. And do you have anyone at Ore?
Yes, we have one in Ore, even though it was a privately owned, but we are working with them to upgrade to a standard of VTA, because what we have there is more like a motor park. We want to upgrade to a standard vehicle transit area, so we are in talks with them.
All right. Okay, then. So I'm just curious, what are the features of the truck transit park or the vehicle transit area that you just mentioned now? What features does it possess?
Yeah, like I said, the VTAs we are promoting are modern parking areas, not like the normal garage we used to know. So there are basic and minimum requirements for development of these vehicle transit areas. You can name it where there should be adequate parking space so that vehicles can maneuver, and pass There should be vehicle maintenance workshop, tire service center. There should be adequate security lighting, of course, CCTV to monitor what is happening, in those details. There should be fire prevention and management system, that's fire service center.
Right.
Of course, it must be perimeter fenced very well. There should be signage so that as you move in, you know where you are going. There must be medical center, we don't pray for. There are way bridges so that as trucks driving, you check the weight, whether they are overweight or not because of, our roads.
Right.
We also have scanners, insurance for body print and the content, adequate number of public convenience, waste management. You just name it. So many, just a standard
transport infrastructure, right? Okay, so with all these features that you mentioned now, which of them is fully operational in Nigeria as we speak right now?
At the moment, none is operational. Most of them are at various level of implementation.
Okay, so which is nearest? Which is nearest to completion, so to say?
Therefore, we are at the final stage of procuring a developer as well as a local in Kogi State.
Okay.
We are believing in the next few months we will move them to site for fiscal
examination. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, then, so in all of this, and I need you to just break it down for our listeners this morning, Issa Audu, what are the benefits of having this transport infrastructure?
Very, very, very numerous. Like I earlier said, it will reduce driver fatigue and incidents of, accident along the road. It will promote safety and security of cargo and even the vehicles themselves while on transit. It also, it makes it easier for, cargo owner to monitor the movement of his cargo too, because there will be tracking system within all these VTA. So as you enter the VTA, the owner of the cargo knows, okay, my cargo is at this location. It will also improve the road trade transportation industry in general.
Right.
Of course, to facilitate trade and increase revenue generation, creating employment, because there will be many vendors around within the in fact, the advantage is just numerous.
Right. Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Maritime Today is the program, and on the program this morning we're looking at best ways of enhancing infrastructure for shipment of goods in Nigeria, the PPP model. And I have the head of the public-private partnership within the Nigerian Shippers Council, Amalam Issa Audu, who is joining us this morning. We're going to take a short break right now. When we return, we'll be asking him more questions. He did talk about some infrastructure that has been cited across some locations in Nigeria. What is the criteria for citing those infrastructure in those areas? And of course, by the time they become fully functional, what will be the economic benefits of this transport infrastructure? And then if we can just imagine what would be the size of these vehicle transit areas. Plus, he'll be talking a little bit more on the inland dry ports. These are many more we're reflecting on, but you can also send in your questions on 080-99-120-777 and 091-5387-7127. A brief break, we'll be back.
Nigerian Shippers Council, they to serve you well. No matter the problem, we go solve them for you.
Yes, so the Nigerian Shippers Council, they feel in a parole now for every level. And as soon as goods, they move from port A, go enter port B, with a measure within on a need. For the Nigerian Shippers Council, we don't sharp proper to fit hear you wella, work with you wella, and help you fit serve your customers them better, no matter where them day. As we country port economic regulator, the Nigerian Shippers Council get every now to fit make government consider the problem when shippers them they face. Visit we office for number 4 or to buy your daily show your daily. Papa Papa, email us for nsc@shipperscouncil.gov.ng. The website now www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng. Allow us on top 0818-888-8895 or 0703-584-6468. Nigerian Shippers Council with a meeting for the port of Nanid.
The Nigerian Shippers Council is now better poised with responsive systems in place to help you and other shippers get seamless, stress-free transition for your clients' goods from point A to B. Today at the Nigerian Shippers Council, timeliness, orderliness, transparency and efficiency is all we care about. Put your complaint through to our helpline 0818-888-8895. Visit us at number 4 Ayodele Shoyode Lane, Apapa, Lagos. Or reach us on www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng.
Nigerian Shippers Council, we meet you at the point of your need.
Nigerian Shippers Council, we meet you at the port of your needs.
Maritime Today on Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. I still have with me on the phone Issa Audu, who is the head of the PPP arrangement. He's a deputy director with the Nigerian Shippers Council. Taking you through the Ojo-Yanoba corridor this morning, the length and breadth of the axis is still looking very, very good to go at this time. We can tell you Isashi has always been a busy area. It's also good at the moment. This is due to, it's busy at the moment because of the repair works on the road that was done last night. Okay, so it's much better right now. Yanoba Bridge connecting you to Abuleado also looking good, and the return journey back to Yanoba en route Igondo Road in and out is very, very good to go. All right, so Malam Issa Audu, let's get back to this. So you mentioned some locations across Nigeria that this transport infrastructure have been cited. What is the criteria for citing those TTPs or perhaps the VTAs in those locations?
Yeah, thank you very much. Actually, we have conducted some surveys and we identify, high traffic corridors. That is where there are high vehicular movement and incessant, truck parking along the road. And this definitely disrupt other road users. Those are criteria we use in identifying where those vehicle transit areas are located.
What about economic factors? Economy is economic a factor? Is the environment a factor?
Of course. Like, anyway, let me not jump.
Right.
What do they say? There are economic considerations. Like I said, some of these VTAs are sited closer to, like some could be sited closer to market, to service the market.
Okay.
Some are sited close to the port to service
the port.
So depending, of course, there are economic considerations as well,
Right. Okay, then, so what is the implementation arrangement for these truck transit ports?
Usually those areas were identified as suitable for siting VTS. We approach the state government to provide land free of all encumbrances. The state government is also to provide basic infrastructure such as access roads, electricity, security, and so on. And then the investor now develop. So depending on the state government may decide to further pump in money that could be used as their equity, or just the land and basic infrastructure could be used as their own equity participation in the project, which will be at the end of when it is developed, it will run over a period of concession period, then hand over back to the council, because the land will be handed over to Shippers Council through letter of exchange.
Right. So, do you have anyone located in Lagos?
Apart from privately owned ones, like those that are used for holding base, we don't have any within Lagos. Or even though there are, we're in talk with some people to look at somewhere around Obiri if we can establish one there.
Right. All right, so let's begin to imagine now, for those who have not really seen what a vehicle transit area looks like, what is the size of a TTP or a VTA?
Yeah, just to also buttress the question you earlier asked, vehicle transit area has been classified into 3 categories, depending on the location, like we said, the needs, the investment plan. We also look at the truck throughput, size of the land. All this will determine what will go into that. So in that regard, we have the first one, which is a vehicle transit area. We call it hub, which is the largest. The minimum land for such a hub is 40 hectares. Then we have the second one, which is the second largest, will have minimum of 20 hectares. And then the mini VTA that may serve you like market or tank farm also, that one, minimum 10 hectares.
All right, then.
Yeah.
Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Maritime Today is the program 08099120777. That's the numbers that you can call. We're talking about the vehicle transit area. It's a transport infrastructure which should aid the shipment of goods and services. And this is under the PPP arrangement of the Shippers Council. So if you have any question for my guest this morning, feel free to bring that in. And of course, he'll be able to respond to it as well. This one says, good morning, Traffic Radio. It said, good morning, Traffic Radio. What is the difference between a motor park and a truck transit park as proposed by your guest, Austin from Ijesha, is sending this one in. All right, so what are the major differences?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Austin. The motor park, as you know, is just where vehicles driving, drop or take passengers and go. And a modern VTA, there's going to be a lot of facilities. Motels where, a truck driving, rest till the following day and he moves. Okay. There are a lot of, like I said, fire service station, filling station, car wash, just name it. It's like, of course, you know the difference.
Okay.
Motor park, you just go and take passenger, you drop or you move. But this one, there will be also warehouse, there will be mechanic workshop, lot of convenience.
So accommodation will also be there too.
Accommodation will also be there. Most of these drivers park on the road, sleep either in their vehicle or shanties around there. So we are trying to discourage parking on the road, inconvenience other users. So those vehicle transit area will have all the convenience that a driver will need for his comfort, either in terms of servicing his vehicle, rest area, restaurants. So, so many differences.
All right, so under the PPP arrangement, how many of this transport infrastructure, how many of the projects are operational right now?
I said this earlier on, apart from the privately owned ones, they are all at a various level of
implementation.
Developmental, yes. None is operational at the moment.
All right, what about the inland dry ports?
Yeah, inland dry ports, we have the 6 or 7 legacy ones. Kaduna is already operational. It was commissioned January 2018. Kano is already operational. It was commissioned January 2023. Funtua would have been commissioned last year, but it was towards the end of the last administration. So last week we were there to do a final inspection, and we are believing before the end of this first quarter it will be commissioned.
Right.
Hypers in Jos is around 49% completion, and then others at various level of
implementation.
Completion.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So as we gradually wind to the end this morning, Issa Audu, what are the challenges confronting the PPP arrangement?
Yeah, in fact, so plenty. One, absence of appropriate legal framework, especially for the ICDs to confer this status of origin and for export and then port of final destination.
Right.
But what we are encouraging is, as soon as any of it reaches like 85% completion, the Honorable Minister of Marine and Blue Economy declares this as point of origin and destination to tertiary development. Of course, the concessionaire's inability to source long-term funding is also a challenge because, sometimes it takes long for them to complete it, and no bank will be willing to give a fund that would take long and carry long. Of course, documentation process is another problem because state government sometimes takes a longer time, to complete, the land documents and the rest.
Right. All right, there's a question here for you quickly as we round things off. This was coming from Julius in Ikeja. Julius says, "Good morning, Traffic Radio. Please ask your guest, can an individual invest in the truck transit park?"
Well, truck transit park is a capital intensive project. If he guarantees us that he has the funding, he can,
Okay.
as long as he complies with our guidelines.
Okay.
He can, but I think
It's a huge project, right?
Exactly, it's a capital intensive project.
That will cost like how many billions of naira? Up to 100 billion or so?
No. Like I said, depending on the size, we're looking at. One cannot readily say this if you look at the inflation cost of building materials and rest, but we are looking at minimum 1 billion.
2 billion. Okay. All right, then. Let's leave it at that for now, even as we move to the end. You're about to enumerate your challenges, which might be so numerous to mention. But as we round up the program this morning, Issa, what's your message to Nigerians?
Yes, thank you very much. I think Nigeria should begin to discuss this idea of government providing everything. That is why we're encouraging this PPP arrangement, so that government will not start projects and along the way it abandons because of funding. So we should buy into this idea of PPP arrangement so that we'll have projects start and complete on time. All
right, then. We'll leave it at that for now. Thank you so much for connecting with us this beautiful morning.
Thank you very much, sir, and thank you, our visible listeners.
All right. Okay, then. So we'll be speaking with Issa Audu. He's Deputy Director with the Nigerian Shippers Council, and currently is the head of the Public-Private Partnership Initiative of the Council to provide transport infrastructure across Nigeria that would enable shipment of goods with ease. We have to go. The program has been produced by Mike James. A big thank you to Rebecca Adamu, who is Assistant Director Public Affairs for the Council. Not forgetting the Executive Secretary himself, Ukeyama Akuta. All right, so next Wednesday, the program makes a return. But till then, you can always connect with the Shippers Council on all their platforms at NG Shippers. Or you can link up with me too at Oteri Victor. I'm out. Still very much within. Have a splendid weekend. Bye.